Hey there, this is Codefinity, and in this video we're going to learn a little bit more about fetching data and putting it into the browser. And for these examples, we're going to be using SWAPI, the Star Wars API. Fun fact, several years ago I interviewed with what's now called Enterprise Holdings, and as part of their technical assessment, they actually used the Star Wars API, and you had to, stuff with it, and so on and so forth. So anyway, I don't know if they still do that, but it is a pretty nice way, especially given that it is now Star Wars Day. It's a nice thing to look at here. It's pretty straightforward. So in a previous video, we've learned about how to generally fetch data. So we use this keyword fetch. We pass in an endpoint. So in this case, this is how we get information on planets with an ID 1, which happens to be Tatooine. So you make that fetch and you use this keyword then, you get back that response, the data response, and then you've got to read that in asynchronously as JSON. And assuming that that is valid data and it reads correctly, then you're ready to look at that JSON and just log it. If anything goes wrong, we'll just catch and we'll just log whatever error is supplied from the API, hopefully something useful. So that's the general gist of this. And you can follow these examples, to like look up people. Actually, we scroll down a little bit more. Yeah, you've got films, people, planets, species, and it all kind of works the same way. If we scroll down some more, it's always like slash people to get all of the people, or slash people with a specific ID number, for instance. So that's generally how it works. Again, it's just another data source. There's plenty of these out there. All right, so now for actually doing some stuff here, I'm using a template repo. You can find the link in the video description here. And this is using Vite and Tailwind and some other stuff, but we're keeping it pretty simple here. If you were to look at the README, it'll tell you how to use this thing in case you're not familiar. But you'll clone this repo, and you'll make sure you have bun installed. You may have to go to bun.sh to install bun, or you can use npm or whatever package manager you're using. Just run bun install or npm install or whatever, and bun run dev. So if we do that now, actually I'll open this up in VS Code first. Switch off here. We'll use the James Quick theme. We'll run bun run dev, and that will fire up our development server. So I'll just control click here, and I just have this button that says, use the force or whatever. So what the idea here, so that's all we have in the HTML. I guess we can center it or something like that. Let's do that really quickly. And I think if we do justify center, so these are Tailwind classes, and whenever you use this this template repo, there are some extensions that are recommended that you can see in here. It'll prompt you install those, but if you do have the extensions, then you'll be able to hover over these and it'll tell you the Tailwind class and the CSS equivalent. That should give us the CSS to kind of center this in the middle of the screen horizontally and vertically. No, it's not H full, it's H min screen. That up, it's min H screen. There we go. So that'll, again, not to get into the CSS too much, but it makes the height be the viewport height, take up the full height, all that stuff. So, all right, so we have this centered button here. It doesn't really do anything as of yet. What we'll do is open it. So we can see here we're using ECMAScript modules, as we should, with type equals module. We in our package JSON, we're also specifying type module. It's 2026. Really should be just kind of the default anyway. All right, so we'll go to our main.js. And if we were to open up our dev tools with Command Option I and look in our console, we can see hello world. Let's just copy this example the example code here just to get things fired up. We'll go right here. We'll paste that in here. And now we should be seeing, what they want us to see, which is, we get the information about Tatooine. So first thing we're going to do is really simplify this code a little bit. We're going to use top level await. So instead, we're going to write it like this. We're going to say, give us the raw response like this. And we're going to get rid of this then keyword stuff, which is fine. It's good to know about. But, these callback functions, all these parentheses, as we can see here, this will get us the same result, and it's much, much cleaner. So here, this is almost identical to just regular synchronous code, like declaring variables. We just tag it with the keyword await, which lets JavaScript know that this is an asynchronous operation and that it's going to have to check back here after the fetch is complete before it can run the rest of this code here. So what I do now is we want to wire up this button, and we're just going to have it, do this fetch here for us, but only when we click the button. So we can start doing that by writing some synchronous code, which is just dealing with the DOM. We'll just grab our button from the DOM, or the document object model. So we can do that like using that document object, and it's got a method query selector. Query is like, I want to look something up. Selector is using a CSS selector, so we're just going to find our button. There's only one button on the page, so that's going to be sufficient. And then we'll go ahead and fill in. The Copilot is figuring out where we want to go here. We're actually going to just do like this one. Okay, so let's just make sure that works. So what's going to happen is there's nothing in the console right now, and whenever we click the button, only then does it do the fetch. So the way that this is working is pretty much what we already talked about. The only difference is whenever you have a function, in this case this callback function, and it is going to be using some awaits, you have to mark the function as async. That's it. Before, when this was not in a function, you just use it as what we call top level await. Top level here meaning that we're on the top level. We're not kind of nested inside of a function. So if you're going to be inside of a function, throw the keyword async in there and you're good to go. Here we're using an arrow function, but you can use regular function keyword if you prefer. Let's see. So the only other thing that we'll do here is one thing we haven't shown is how do we deal with errors. Like if we want to say, okay, well, what if we give it like a bad URL, like we say planet instead of planets or something like that? How would we deal with an error if we were to make a bad thing like this? Currently, we click this button here, and it's just like nothing's going to happen. We're just going to get this weird thing in the error, but we're not really doing anything with the error. We're not getting back valid JSON. So how would we deal with that? I'm going to see if the AI will write us a good little try catch here on its own. So I don't have to type all of what happens. I'm just going to say add some error handling. What it did here. Yeah, it's try catch. So the way that this, I don't like these extra parentheses here. So the way that this works is we have this try block, and the keyword try is connected with a keyword catch. This is try catch block. And if you've done any other type of language out there, almost all of them have something very similar to this try catch. So here we are, making this a bad URL call because we put planet here. And so we check the response, and the response object, when it comes back from this await, it has a property called OK. And we look at this here, it tells us there's more information in MDN, but it basically just checks what's known as a response code. And if it's not in this range, then that means something went wrong. So we're saying here, if we're using an operator here, like basically the not operator. So if the response is not okay, then we're going to throw our own error message, throw new error, and response.status. So status is another property we get back in here. So again, this will only fire if the response is not okay. And if we throw an error within our try block here, well, naturally, we're going to catch that error that we just threw, and then it'll say console error, error fetching data. So let's take a look at this now. And we can see here error fetching data. And then this is our, see, we could kind of customize the error message. So I'll just say like, this is custom. So now when I do it, this is custom. So that's all it does. It just, we're still going to get the error, of course, but at least we have a little bit cleaner handling. And then we could, put something like that into our actual code. For instance, we come in here and do like just a p tag, and we can use, we can do something like this. We can say, and we'll make this like red error, and we'll just leave it blank like that. Okay, hidden is just hidden like in CSS. And what we will do is we will catch this error, and we can still do console.error. But what we will also do, we can go ahead and just grab, we'll say error p or error paragraph. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll just put that error message in here. We'll update its text content, and then we'll remove the hidden class, and that'll allow it to show. So there we go. And then, of course, we can fix the styling or whatever. Matter of fact, we can easily do that just by saying flex-column, and we can give it a little bit of a gap like that. Okay, so it's going to look a little bit better now. Failed to fetch data. Please try again later. So that's how we can add basic error handling, still pretty clean, with using awaits and try and catch. Okay, well, that's kind of a nice little overview of just some simple data fetching, how we can wire it up to the UI, and I guess that's all I have to say about that for now.